Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is Let's Talk with Kay, with me, Kay. And today you are in my garage. First of all, I want to say I apologize for putting out content. Let me fix this. Putting out content kind of late. It's been a busy day. It's going by real fast. I mean, where I'm at right now, it is 6:25. So that's when I'm currently recording. And right now, the day went by fast. I woke up, I would say I woke up early. I didn't really get a lot of sleep last night. And I just stayed up and just kind of had insomnia. I hope you can hear me clearly because I do have like an air conditioner on right now. I never use it in an enclosed area. I normally have my garage door open, but I'm gonna keep it on because it will get hot in here real quick, fast, and hurry. But I will go ahead. Right now I'm a little bit busy and I'm kind of late. I wanted to go ahead and do some work, but at least before I go to bed, on starting photographs and listings. Right now I have Lulu's dresses that was just shipped today. And early, I guess during that shipment, of course I took my daughter to an appointment, got something to eat, came home, watched a little bit of YouTube, and then before you know it, the time just went by fast. I'm like, wow. But I'm just gonna try to do some work here. Before I go into what I want to talk about, I just got these Lulu's dresses. A lot of them are wedding dresses and cocktail dresses. So this is one example of it. And let me see another one. I have really a lot of cute ones. Right now I'm getting ready to steam them. And some like you can wear them as wedding dresses or like cocktail dresses or whatever, or all white parties or whatever you have going on, some type of formal occasion. And yes, I got quite a few of them, some casual type of dresses. So if you are interested to buy a dress for yourself, or you want to buy one for your girlfriend or significant other, head to my store. The information is in the description of the video. But I guess while I sing, I forgot to turn the setting on. Okay. Well, I think I still have a little time, but what I want to talk about is, I guess, manifesting money or manifesting whatever type of goal you have in mind. And mainly, I would say just manifesting financially. And I will have to say one thing that I really thought about, especially today, is if you want to own a business or just increase your money or finances, you have to you probably heard it before, you will have to get out of that poverty type of mindset, and you will have to think more of abundance. And people like, okay, I hear it, but how do I do that? I would say, first of all, the negative talk about money. I hear people often say money is the root of all evil, and then they will say, well, rich people are evil and all this type of stuff. To me, if you're thinking about money evilly, it's like saying, I don't want nothing evil to come around me. So therefore, if you believe in the law of attraction or whatever, that's how it works. It works based on your consciousness or consciousness, I can't talk. However you're thinking about, like, if you're thinking about money in a negative way, all rich people are evil, money is the root of all evil, the only way to go up in society is to do bad. To me, if you think about money like that, you're basically telling yourself or your subconscious, money is evil. So if you put those thoughts into the universe, guess what? You'll be out there chasing money, and it's going to be like repelling, because you basically telling the universe money is evil. It's like saying, and I learned this about a couple of years ago, you got to be really, really careful about what you say or how you joke around or whatever. Because, for example, if you sitting around and making jokes about yourself, like, oh girl, you fat, oh girl, you ugly, or whatever. You're putting it in your subconscious. You can be the most prettiest person in the world, but guess what? You're going to be starting treating yourself like you're ugly. I mean, that's probably like the worst example or whatever, but that's something I can come up with. Or basically, anyway, like, let me get a good example. Like dating. That's like the most perfect example people think of, dating. If you, for example, talk about what you don't want in dating, say like, I don't want a man that's cheap. Your subconscious here, cheap. It ain't really hearing I don't or I won't. It's like, it's hearing cheap. I don't want a man that's a liar. Guess what? If you keep thinking about I don't want a man that's a liar, I don't want a man that's a liar, guess what? Your subconscious will be hearing liar. I don't want a man, or if you're opposite sex or whatever, I don't want my partner to be stingy. All your subconscious is hearing is stingy. Those like action words, you know. So basically, you wondering, man, why am I always attracting these people that are cheap, that are liars, that are, you know, just all these negative characteristics that you say you don't want. People normally say, okay, say what you want. I want to have a man that has an honest character. I want a partner that has a stable job. I want a partner that's mentally healthy. I want a partner that's emotionally intelligent. I want a partner that's have great credit, whatever. Then guess what? Now you're basically starting to attract all those things, because now that's what your mind is focused on, and then your actions will be aligned to that focus. And next thing you know, I'm not saying it's an easy process like tomorrow I'm going to find this person. It don't happen exactly like that, but you're more than likely to be attracting that positive energy. And that goes with your personal life, that goes with your finances, that goes with thinking about your goals and all that type of stuff. I'm going to give you a good example of what I'm talking about. I remember a few years back when I just moved here to where I'm living at right now, and basically, I guess I had a season, I was short on funds, and it was right before Christmas. I was pretty much paying off a lot of debt, and then, you know, bills might have been really high at a certain point or whatever. And basically, instead of worrying, I told myself I wasn't going to worry. Whatever I need is going to be provided. I'm going to figure it out. It's going to be there. Next thing you know, like, I started to get a check in the mail for like, I think it was like at least 2 or 3 checks in the mail from a bank that I banked with like a couple of years prior, that just basically sent me checks in the mail, I guess based on a mistake that they made. I'm like, who would have thought that? You know, and some people could say, well, yeah, that was a coincidence. I don't know, but guess what? Because of my faith and my belief and not to worry or whatever, I basically got those, 2 checks. It seemed like things were provided for me. It seemed like things just kind of started following in line, And also, I would like to mention, if you really got a scarcity mindset, like, I don't have no money, I'm always broke or whatever, I'm going to say, tell me I'm wrong. You can put in the comments and say, you're wrong. A lot of times when you basically feel like you're broke, you don't have no money or whatever like that, you're not doing no budget. I can absolutely tell you, when I was broke, I'm going to admit it myself, when I was feeling broke, really not being prosperous and just kind of struggling, I'm going to say my lights were never turned off or nothing like that. I will let you know about that. But honestly, when I was broke, I wasn't doing no budget. And I wasn't really intentional with my money. I felt like until I started doing a budget, no matter how much money I had, if If I did that budget and I probably had $20 at the end of the month, I still did a budget. And I feel like it's telling the universe, I have control of my finances. I'm going to be the determiner of what my money goes to, what it does. And I feel like once you put that energy out there, it will, first of all, when you do a budget, you're pretty much more mindful of what you have. So you are more how should I put it? Mindful of how to spend it and things like that. And also, what else did I want to say? And basically, you are telling the universe, hey, she has more control of her money. The outside forces like the electricity company, whatever utility company is out there, they're not really determining how your money is spent and how it goes. Yeah, you still got to pay bills but you still, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I'll put it this way. Yeah, people going through hard times or whatever, but I'm a big believer that you can get out of those hard times if you really want to. And when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to find a job. You're going to find a second job. Baby, if you know you have to improve your skills or gain some skills to get a better job, you might go to school. But if you get a loan, you might have to get a loan. But guess what? To me, I feel like it's worth it at the end. You know, you will find a way out. You're not trapped in bondage. If things get so hard and you live in the United States, I would say you may have to move outside the United States or whatever and work. Basically, it's possible. If you put your mind to it, it's possible. But I feel like if you got a victim mindset, like you in victimhood, you don't got no control, people doing things to you and you can't get out of the situation or anything, to me this topic is really not going to be applicable to you if you really do feel that way, because at the end of the day, you're going to be rebutting everything I say. Well, what if you got this job, a minimum wage? Well, what if you married and you can't get out this marriage? Well, what if you got kids? I'm like, well, baby, all thing I'm going to tell you is, ain't nothing I can say to you, because you ain't going to change your mind. And guess what? Your situation going to be pretty much the same until you basically get to the point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of your situation, and you decide, okay, let me make some changes. Because I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm being very serious about it, and I'm not here to throw shade or whatever, but I'm the second youngest out of 7 kids, and it's 6 girls and 1 guy out of all of us. My mom, we basically, of course, all of us have the same mom, and all of us are basically living different lives. Then I would have to say, like I said, I'm not throwing shade or being disrespectful or anything like that, but all of us came out of the same household. But at the end of the day, I decided, okay, I'm going to go to college. So in 1998, I went to college. I was the first person that went to college. And for a while, I was the only person that went to college. And I eventually got my master's degree in business, or more specifically in finance. So I went to college. And let me give you my background. I forgot to give you my background. And for one point, my family, me and my siblings, we lived in the projects for a few years. And then my mama met my stepdad, and then later got married. And then I think when I was like 5 years old, maybe, I think I was a little bit older than 5. Because I remember still being in the projects when I was in kindergarten. So I think I was probably around, I'm going to say 2nd grade. I remember that. It was around 2nd grade. I think, how old was I when I was in 2nd grade? I guess maybe 7 years old. So basically we moved into a middle class home. You know, I think we rented it, and I think we moved to the suburbs after that, and I think I'm not sure my mom and my stepdad rented the house or purchased it and later sold it. And then a few years after that, I mean, that didn't last very long. We moved to the hood. So we stayed in the hood for a long while. And I would say, before my mom and stepdad got divorced, right before they divorced, they stayed in but I didn't live there for a while because I was in college. And I stayed in the dorms, but they stayed in the suburbs for a little bit, probably for like a year maybe or less. And then they ended up divorcing, and my mom moved back, stayed basically in Section 8 housing and stuff. And they weren't always safe in safe neighborhoods and things. So basically, I'm just gonna say it like this. As a kid, basically most of my life, as a kid and a teen, we lived in struggle. And then with my older siblings, from what I remember, of course they lived partially in the projects before they moved out. And they moved out at young ages due to life circumstances. I'm gonna just say that respectfully. But before then, they lived in the country. They lived in East Texas, like on a farm or whatever. And I heard during that time, they don't want to admit it, but they admitted at certain points in their life that my mom was abusive. And they say she was way abusive to them than she was to me and my younger sister. But that's neither here or there. But the point is, I could have had that mindset even as a young person to this is my life, it's struggle. And once you have that mindset, that poverty mindset, not being broke, to me broke is seasonal. You might be low on funds because of emergencies and this, that, and the other, but I feel like poverty is a mindset. You basically, when I see people that live impoverished, they basically living in the projects or Section 8 homes or whatever generationally. I grew up, I seen this personally, that I saw people that, I seen grandma, and I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just stating facts. I seen grandma, this is my stepside by the way, I seen grandma staying in the projects. I saw the daughters of the grandma in the same projects. I saw the grandkids living in the same projects, and the great-grandkids. Basically, that's when I see something like that, to me, that is a mindset. That is an impoverished mindset. You can tell people like that, I don't care if they, whatever color they are, black, white, Asian, whatever. If once it's set in your mind that I'm poor and there's nothing I can do about it, until your mindset changes, honey, you're gonna stay poor. I mean, think about it. I tell my daughter this all the time. Like, the way you act, how you think it's going to be, it ain't going to happen opposite. It's not like, okay, I'm not going to school, for example. I'm skipping school, but for some reason, I got a full scholarship ride. It's just, I going to college, Harvard, that's like, dude, if you grumpy all the time, your actions are grumpy, people ain't gonna say you are the happiest person in the world. They're just gonna say you grumpy. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if you got an impoverished mindset, that's your mindset. I got a mindset of being poor, but I'm rich. And people can say, yeah, that's not true, but look at the lottery winners. Most lottery winners who basically had an impoverished mindset, they lose those millions within a couple of years and they back broke again. So that's the perfect example of that. If you got an inheritance or whatever and you got an impoverished mindset, that inheritance is gone. It's gonna be gone within a couple of years. And this thing you broke, the stuff you purchased, you have to sell them or they're gonna be repoed. The house that you bought might have to be sold and or foreclosed. And you back at square one. And then as far as business-wise, or any other decision that can make a cause a financial, what they call it, windfall. If you got a impoverished mindset, I don't care how hard you work towards that goal, that business is going to fail. And you can see it when you even watch these reality shows about people that have businesses that's about to fail, and they have to call in somebody to fix it. And a lot of times they lucky that the person that came in, the host or whoever came in to fix it, that host is spending money. The people that's hurting, they just lucky that they had that person to help spend money. I'm not sure if they got to pay back that company a portion of that on the back end. I don't know exactly how that worked or whatever. But the point is, the people who own that business didn't invest not only in themselves, they didn't invest in their business. They didn't invest in a proper manager, for example, if they own a restaurant and they know good and well they need somebody to run that restaurant. If they have no experience, they didn't want to invest in it because they're thinking about all the money that's coming out. But they're not thinking about the money that's coming in or potential that money's coming in. So guess what? They buying low quality food that's people can tell that it's low quality. They don't have to know exactly where the food was purchased from, but they can just taste the food and like, ew, yuck. These burgers are nasty. It's soggy. The steak tastes tough. Whatever. And now their business is basically doing horribly financially, and they got a reputation that they have to overcome. That they are a bad restaurant. The environment sucks. It looks sad and dead. The food quality sucks. They don't have no general manager, or if they do have a general manager, they not worth their salt, and they obviously getting paid accordingly. So they don't got the experience to run a business, to run a hotel, to run some type of establishment. So they failing. So they either have to get a loan, which obviously, according to the show, they ain't got a loan. They don't qualify for a loan no more because they waited too long. And they probably didn't want a loan because they thought, oh, that's more money to invest in this business. So they only thinking about the money coming out. You're like, how you know all this? I own my own business. And I experienced partially of that because I was nervous. And that's another thing when you go in business. You'll be nervous. Am I going to be earning my money? And oh my God, am I going to pay the bills? It's a lot harder when you came from a really, really good job, making probably $100,000 or more a year. You're like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I have a passion like I'm doing right now, for example. I want to have experienced that freedom of working for myself, but I'm fearful. And a lot of times you got to get over that fear, because at the end of the day, everybody don't got no rich uncle or rich aunt, rich parents. And in this day and age, we have so much technology. You don't have to start a business the way of starting businesses now is so antiquated at this point. You don't have to have a huge loan from a bank. You don't have to get investors and have your parents and everybody to pitch in and give you about $100,000 or more of seed money just to own a business. If that's the only way of owning a business in 2025, somebody teaching you some really antiquated ways of owning a business. There are so many ways, especially with technology, and now we have AI. It's like, dude, when I first started this business, I started as mainly a gig work. I basically started because I felt like I needed money. I lost my job back in 2022, and money was about to run out, my savings. So I'm like, I need to earn some money. And I started selling clothes from my closet. And then I'm like, whoa, okay. At first I wanted to give up because it wasn't happening fast. But guess what? I invested in myself. I didn't just give up fast like money gonna come or whatever and I'm gonna be a millionaire like a Kardashian within the next few months. So, or they billionaires now, but that's besides the point. So I started small. I started selling clothes within my closet. Then I'm like, okay. And then in the meantime, I went on YouTube. I started learning more, and then I'm like, okay, I can do it this way. I started buying clothes in Goodwill or whatever. And make a long story short, I saw the potential of how much money I can make. So later on down the road, I'm like, you know what? I guess because I experienced the freedom of basically not working for somebody and then going back to work, and I'm like, I'm feeling so unfulfilled and things of that nature. I said, you know what? Let me do this full time. Was it always perfect? No. And I still was like, I would say I was still kind of fearful a little bit because I was like, oh my God, I was kind of scared to spend that money. I was scared to spend that money. And then plus I had health scares and things like that. They kind of slowed me down a little bit too. So now I'm a lot healthier and this and that. I'm actually investing in my business. I'm spending more money on my business. I'm buying more stuff. I'm learning more to the point that I'm like, okay, I kind of have like a process down. So guess what? I'm working faster. I'm taking photos faster. Steaming clothes faster. I'm talking to y'all, and I'm like, pretty much already steamed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All those ain't been steamed. Probably like 2 items didn't get steamed because they don't need it. But I'm talking to you guys. I'm like making YouTube videos now. And I'm over here working. In 2023, I wasn't able to do this. I was still slow. I was still figuring out a process. I was still figuring out how to price. Because I was all over the place, to be for real. I was all over the place. And plus, I felt like I was more chasing money instead of letting the money come to me. And what I mean by that is, like say for example, I was listing something and then I decided a price. I'm deciding a price. And the average price of those items on eBay, for example, that's what I normally use to price stuff that I'm not familiar with as far as the brand. I'm like, okay, it's like $19 because in resale, it's sale on retail currently for $50. I'm like, well, I'm going to sell it for $40. You know what I'm saying? But the average price is like 19. I'm just throwing out numbers because it's not always like that, to be honest. So guess what? Who you think is selling their clothes? The other people. But I'm thinking about that money factor. I need this money. I'm selling it for this. It's valued at this. If I don't get this money, I'm not going to make a really good profit. But guess what? Who's not selling their items? Me. Because I'm like, okay, well, let me figure this out. So I basically invested into myself again, did some more education, and I'm like, okay, budgeting. That's another thing. When you have your own business, you gotta know how to budget your finances. If you can't do it in your personal life, you best believe you're not gonna do it in your business. So I would say before you even have your own business, you better learn how to budget and manage your money. So basically, I had to improve my pricing. And then with that, I ain't coming on here to give y'all a business lesson, but I may do that in a later video. But if you really want to hear it, please put in the comments. I want to hear more specifics on how to run a online reselling business or just business in particular. So basically, I had to learn about pricing. And I had to figure out, okay, I want to make this certain income. So if I want to make certain income and I want to make this amount of profit or whatever, I had to spend money. So guess what? Instead of listing about 100 items a month, I'm listing like 400 items, for example, a month. Because now I got the experience. I know how, I'm more familiar with how the business is ran. I got the education down pat. I know myself. I know the market here in Albuquerque as far as sourcing clothes. So I'm like, do I want to spend hours sourcing clothes to find like 5 items? Or do I want to go online and save time and order clothes? Do I want to order clothes that I know is a hot seller and keep selling that? And it's going to be easier for me because I know the market of that certain brand. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I run. People got different business models. Some people live in certain areas where they will walk in the store and the clothes will jump at them. You know what I'm saying? Because they have the items that people are looking for. I would say places like California, maybe Dallas, New York, the obvious places. So yeah, but anyways, what I'm trying to say is, if you want to have a successful business, and successful business means more of financial. If you ain't got the money in your business gonna fail. It need money, point blank, period. So if you want to succeed financially in your business and personal life, you definitely will have to change your mindset. It may take you, it depends on how long you've been in that mindset. It's gonna take some work every day. It will take work every day. And you got to learn how to control your thoughts too. I would probably make a separate video on that. You have to, even if you have ADHD or whatever, it's still possible. Because believe me, I'm diagnosed with ADHD. I know I have it. When I say it, I'm not being cute about it. And you have to learn how to control your thoughts. You can't let your thoughts, you can't let your brain be a highway, a multi-system highway, and any and every thought can come in if you want to manifest what you want. You have to be intentional. That's why I said in my previous videos, you might have to let go or really, really reduce your social media time, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. If let's say if Twitter or whatever social media is a big portion of your life, I would say, you on social media 75% of your day. You're like, how do you say this? That's a lot. It's possible. You wake up in the morning, first thing you look at is your TikTok feed. Then you getting ready, probably in the shower, you're looking at TikTok. You at work, say you got an office job. Hey, that's more time to be on TikTok. Your manager not around. I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and act like I ain't looking on TikTok or whatever while I was at work. You probably sit down, you probably ain't got that much to do, or so you think. And guess what? You on TikTok. You in your car, probably on a lunch break or a 15-minute break. You on TikTok. You probably driving. You listening to YouTube or listening to TikToks while you're driving. Hell, you might got the mount, or phone on the mount, and listening to TikTok and watching it while you're driving. I mean, come on now. I'm just saying. I believe it happens. And man, it's like in the air. It's hot. I'm like, man, I might have to open the garage back in a few. But yeah, so basically, and then you go home, you're watching TikTok on the TV, watching it on your phone, and then you it's hot. Hold on, y'all. The air ain't blowing like it should, so I guess I'm gonna have to open the garage in a second. But yeah, so I hope when I do this playback, you guys can hear me well. But my point is, it's easy to spend a lot of your day on social media, and then on top of that, guess what's in your mind? You're thinking about the stuff you watched. You're thinking about how it's affecting you. You might watching stuff that's political. Now that's on your mind. You ain't really thinking about what you can. You don't have. You're not really intentional. I'll put it like that. When you really focus on social media, for example. No shade, no shade. So that's all I pretty much want to say on this topic. I'm sorry I wasn't trying to get into it too long, but so please, I'm doing a 30-day challenge for myself. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this is the 5th day of content in a row, and I'm over here like, whew, I'm gonna have to open that garage door open again. I guess the AC unit or whatever, a portable AC unit don't work when it's enclosed. So I'm over here suffering right now. But anyways, so please, if you want to support my goal to reach a goal, I think I said I set a goal of 100 after I finish the 30 days. I gotta look and see. I forgot the goal. Dang. I put it. Excuse me. I put it on the screen. You know, when I'm in the editing process. But if you support if you want to support my channel, please subscribe, like my content, even better, share it, and comment and tell me your thoughts. So this is Let's Talk with Kay, and today is Thursday, July the 24th, and I will see you again. Have a good day. Bye-bye.